And we're back on Studio 90 Extra Time. Today we're visiting with U.S. midfielder Maurice Edu. Thanks so much for joining us on our set.
Thanks for having me.
Woohoo! Yeah. Hey, applause for Maurice. I love it. All right, so you guys have been here in South Africa for just a few days. I know you were here for the friendly in 2007. You missed out on the Confederation Cup with injuries. You guys have set up base camp here. How's it been the first couple days?
It's actually been pretty good. You know, the weather's been pretty good during the days. It gets a little bit colder at night. You know, we had a day of training yesterday, which is kind of just to get our legs going again after the long flight. And the hotel's been great. You know, the hotel staff, as long as the facilities here, have been, you know, top class. So far we're enjoying things and just looking forward to, you know, progressing on from here. I
know you've only been here a short time, but are you starting to get a little bit of a feel for the World Cup and the excitement of the people?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, the vibe around the city so far has been good, and I think everyone's just really excited for that first game.
All right, let's talk about Scotland. Obviously, you're playing over there for Glasgow Rangers, one of the most famous clubs in the world. You moved there in 2008, 2009 from Toronto FC. What I want to know is how much trouble you had understanding the guys when you first got there.
When I first got there, I didn't understand anything. Like, just basic small talk conversations were just going over my head. You know, I didn't understand anything they were saying. And then especially, like, let's say they were telling me a story about something that happened like the night before or a previous incident, and then they started getting excited and talking really fast, and I just zoned out, just nodding my head and smiling and just laughing when I felt like I should laugh. And it's gotten a little bit better now. I can understand them, but even then, still, there's times when they're like, again, telling stories or something like that, or just get caught up in, if it's like a Scottish person talking to another Scottish person, and I'm just involved, and good luck.
Have you gotten any bit of a Scottish lilt in your accent at all?
No.
Okay.
I try to maintain my American accent as much as possible.
Southern California.
Exactly.
Now, it seems to me that Rangers is one of the more, I don't know if this is the correct word, one of the more fun teams to play for in the world. Also maybe one of the more dangerous teams, but just because of the passion of the fans. I mean, it's amazing over there. But what has it been like playing at one of the soccer meccas in the world, Ibrox?
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much described it pretty well there in saying that the fans are really passionate. I think the true, you know, definition and illustration of that was when we won the championship my first year. You know, we won it away at Dundee United, but on our way back to the stadium to celebrate with our fans, you know, the streets were lined with fans leading up to the stadium, and then to walk inside the stadium and see about, I don't know, 30, 40,000 fans sitting there waiting for us that whole time, it was just unbelievable. And for me, that really showed how much, you know, winning the title and just winning every game means to the fans there. But yeah, the atmosphere at every game for us, every home game for us is tremendous. The support that we get is unbelievable, and you know, hats off to our fans. They really show that they have a passion for us and the game by the way they support us.
Now, watching the Scottish League matches, is the tackling? I know tackling in professional soccer around the world is hard, but from just watching the matches, it seems that the tackling in the Scottish League is even ramped up a little bit. Is that true, or is it just what we see on the outside?
I think so. I think that's part of just the British mentality, the British game. You know, they like, you know, the physical play and the physical aspects of the game, and it's just highlighted a little bit more in the Scottish game. That ended up being how I got injured, you know, from a tackle, but it's just part and parcel of the game. You know, you dish it out, you take it as well, so you got to just learn to just get on with it, and just, if you're going to dish it out, you know, you're going to be on the receiving end eventually, so just prepare yourself for it.
So let's talk about your goal at the end of February. You scored the winning goal in the Old Firm match, one of the most famous soccer games in the world. It was a 3rd minute of stoppage time. Bedlam at Ibrox. We all saw the goal here. Your manager, Walter Smith, who's 62 years old, he ran up the sideline and he like jumped in the air and he like was fist pumping. I believe that win basically clinched your 2nd title in a row, even though it was earlier in the season, but gave you a nice buffer there over Celtic. Had to be a surreal experience to do something like that.
Yeah, it was. Going into that game, we all knew it was a very important game for us just because the way things had worked out. We had a pretty good lead over Celtic, but that game was significant because if we drop points there, then that kind of, you know, lets them back into the race a little bit. But if we win that game, that really widens the gap, and as it happened, you know, put them out of touch and reach at all. So the game was funny because, you know, we felt like we played well in that game and we could have won the game earlier. It didn't happen, and it came down to the final minute of the game, and it was a corner kick, and they served it in back post, and one of our players took a good touch and fired the shot on goal, and the keeper made a good save for them, and the ball's kind of bouncing around in there, and one of our guys shooting it, the keeper saving it, just back and forth, and I was kind of just, you know, floating around the box trying to see if I could get on the end of something, and fortunately for me, it fell right to me, and I was in the right place at the right time and tapped it in, and the crowd was, the reaction from then, just, I mean, that sealed it all. That just showed just again how seriously they take the game first and foremost, and then how important the Celtic Rangers games are for them. So I'm glad it was at a home game because the support there was tremendous. You know, at our stadium, there's like all around up until this one point behind the far end goal is Rangers supporters. And so everyone in that section was just going crazy. And then the back side behind their goal was just silent. Their fans were just sitting there just depressed. And it was a great feeling for us, obviously. And, you know, we just really enjoyed that moment and celebrated with it.
I'm betting you didn't have to pay for a meal for the rest of the year in Glasgow.
No, the city really, I mean, it's funny living in Glasgow because half the city loves you and the other half, you know, hates you with a passion. So it makes it kind of fun and interesting at the same time living there.
Free meals in the right restaurants.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right, well, that's it for this segment of Studio 90 Extra Time, but we're not done with Mo. We'll be right back with some fan questions that we got on Twitter, as well as the 2010 debut of the Back Four Quiz. Woo!